SABC News reporter Jayed-Leigh Paulse joins us now from Nongoma. Jayed-Leigh, thanks so much indeed for joining us. It's been a long day, but historic, I guess, and also, I bet, a privilege to be able to cover such a big story such as this, because it is literally once in a lifetime.
A very good evening to you, Peter, and to the viewers. It's very true what you said. It is a historic day. And for many journalists who've been covering the story for most of the day, I think for us it's also a privilege, especially for myself. But you know, just to look at the culture of the Zulu nation, the tradition, and seeing the men and women in the streets, especially, you know, with that procession leading all the way from Nongoma, from the town all the way to the great royal palace. It was really touching to see how they love their king, how they revered King Goodwill Zwelithini, and also just listening to the many stories that people came out to talk and say about him, the many fond memories that they had. I had the privilege of speaking to Chief of Mvezo Mandla Mandela, and he said that, you know, his grandfather was very good friends with the monarch, but also that he visited the palace when he was younger. So all these stories came to the fore as we spoke to several dignitaries on the street. But I must also make mention of the fact, Peter, that it was also the people of the province that came out in their numbers to also bid farewell to their king. Those that were at home watching the live broadcast, and also those that were standing on the hills and on the side skirts of the streets, just observing all that was happening. I'm just going to be speaking to Njabulo. He actually was there today. We caught him off on the streets. Njabulo, just take us through the emotion that you felt when you were observing what was happening today.
Thank you very much. I was very much as proud as a Zulu person and as a Zulu man. And I'm actually very much despondent as I'm joining the nation to grieve for the passing of our king, and also who was also the custodian of our culture, and also our role model as a father figure. And also I was actually proud to actually see how much people loved our king, even though when he was still alive, yes, we loved him, but the time of his passing, we showed very much that we loved our king. And all the proceedings that were happening, it shows that we loved our king. Like looking at Mabuto, how like the long way they walked today from from Lindizwe across the Nongoma town and to where the king is going to be buried. It was also an amazing thing to see live. I feel very sorry for people that did not see that happening, but I was actually looking at it live.
And one must make mention of the fact that also that if it was not for COVID-19 and all these regulations, and if that everything was, so to speak, normal, I suppose we would have seen thousands of more people flocking to KwaZulu-Natal from all over the African continent, but also abroad. And I'm sure that we would have also seen the Prince of Wales, Charles, coming through, because we know that the king was also, he had great ties with the UK. Just as a citizen here in KwaZulu-Natal, as well as a Zulu man, how did you feel about having the nation actually see the tradition and the culture that was coming into play?
Should it was not going to be for COVID, I think the funeral of the king was going to be the culture that we're going to be embracing. It was going to be a dignified, more dignified than it happened, and also it was going to be more honorable. But even though we've tried as Zulu people to actually honor our king, but I believe that the whole world will have been here in KwaZulu-Natal, and I believe that maybe where the king is going to be buried, there was not going to be enough space for all people to come. Maybe the Moses Mabhida will have been the right place for the king, for the funeral of the king.
Thank you so much for sharing your views, Njabulo. That was Njabulo Shandu. We caught him here just to talk about, how people actually embraced the day. It is a somber day. It was a somber day. It was a sad day. But there were many people who also rejoiced that life of the King Goodwill Zwelithini, just speaking about what he stood for. He was a principled man. He was a traditionalist. He believed so much in preserving the Zulu culture. And I think for someone that is non-Zulu, for me, it was absolutely beautiful, Peter, to observe, the monarch coming out, and also, many Zulus, AmaZulu, coming out and paying such a beautiful tribute to their king. And I'm sure you back at home also appreciated and felt that it was a very fitting send-off.
Yeah,
Peter.
And I was just thinking, as reporters, often we cover stories, but we sometimes don't quite appreciate the impact the monarchy has in our societies until moments like this happen, and suddenly one gets an appreciation of just the place that these monarchs have in people's lives day to day.
So true.
All right, Jayed, we're going to have to leave it.
That's very true, Peter.
Yeah.
While we were standing there, while we were standing there, I just turned over to my colleague Simpiwe Makanya before the hearse actually arrived, and it started raining. It was raining so hard, and I made a joke to Simpiwe, and I said, you know what, in the African culture, as South Africans, we believe when it rains, it's blessings. And he said to me, yes, it is. The king is a blessing, and now we're finally saying goodbye.